Doesn't that sound similar to what's happening in Ghana? From 2009 to 2016, 59 permits, mining permits, were issued by the state of Ghana. But from 2017 to 24, 1,990 permits were issued, and all happened under one government.
Wow.
But see,
wow, that was a lot. So this is the Anti-Partisan Network, and I want to welcome you on another episode. We will jump right back into the video, but before that, I want to say something first. I think I checked my analytics, and I can see that my viewers are going up, but my subscribers are still low. I think I do not mention it enough times in my videos how important for me if my viewers subscribe and like my videos. Well, I accept the responsibility that it's my fault that I do not say it much, but not because I don't want to, it's mainly because I don't know how to beg for people for things. So instead of just making a request, I want to leave the judgment to you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say something small about my channel and leave it up to you whether or not you should subscribe or not. So the Anti-Partisan Network, I think, is a division in the anonymous content studio. It's something that I'm trying to start myself. And on this channel, we are not really here to, talk about the same things that we have been talking about since the beginning of the downfall of Ghana. Here, our emphasis is on common sense. I think these politicians now, so on my channel, I'm trying to sort of like use common sense to understand some of the things that they see or some of the decisions that they make. Because it's almost as if when they are making decisions or when they are making policies, they do not consider the consequences or the future outcomes that which policies or decisions would bring. They just think about the political factor, the favors that they would bring from, the people, the audience in this sense. And here is why what they are doing is so dangerous. They see it to be some kind of game that they are playing. Fine. But you see, this game that they are playing, there's a certain number of people that are equipped to play this game. But you see, the consequences of the game that they are playing affect everybody, including the people who lack the equipment to be part of this game. Here's what I'm trying to say. The politicians, they have money, they are rich. And so some of the decisions that they make, the consequences that come after, it doesn't really concern them. It doesn't really concern them that the NHIS system is not working. It doesn't really concern them that because of free education, now people are not paying school fees, and now the education system is suffering. They don't have enough money. So now teaching is going down, and lots of basic things is going. They don't really care about that because they have the money. If our healthcare or our health system is not working, you can just trap tickets, go Abuchi to the hospital there. If they see that the Ghana education is lacking, they can just take their children, go Abuchi, go and to our schools there. But me and you, we are here, we are living with the consequences. So I had this idea that if I can, bring people to the same frequency as I am, if I can sort of like convince people to become, something different from what we have known ourselves to be. Because here's what I know. I know that you do not do the same action and expect different results. So if we want something different, if we want a different result, then I think that maybe we should do something different. It is because of this progressiveness that has brought us to this place. And I think that we, going back to our traditional common senses, would sort of like understand, because it's not necessarily mean that new is better. It's not necessarily like true that new something are there for papa saying are there data. It's not all the time that is true. So it's possible that maybe we could be ahead of ourselves. So I'm just trying to use our common sense. Sort of like explain what these politicians they say, and some of these socioeconomic atmosphere that is presenting itself, some of these developments. And I believe that doing this would in turn draw people's attention to what is important and what is not. Because right now, there's this popular conception that I think people have misguided priorities, and it's there's a lot of evidence to back this. So this is the small advert that I'm going to do for my channel. So if you think that I deserve your subscription or your like, please do not hesitate. And I'm sure that if you have watched up to this point, then probably you are in between giving me your subscription or not. And I would really hope that you will lean to the part where you subscribe. So enough talk, let's get to the video. The video is about Mr. Cyrus trying to explain what president of Mali, the new one, is doing. I think he's doing something different, and in his perspective, the Ghana government could learn or see it as an example and learn from it. So he's trying to make analysis between these two countries and their president and their decisions, foreign affairs, with respect to gold, the natural resources, which is quite important. So I've heard. So let's get to the video. And
Africa has gold, and the gold we have is all we need to be rich. Our development is tied up to our resources, and it begins with agriculture and gold. To you that is watching me, ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what gold is all about? Have you seen the current price of gold on the bullion market? Ask yourself, what kind of commodity sees this kind of price hike all the time? It is over 127,000 US dollars per kilo today, 30th of October. At the end of October 2025 years ago, the same 1 kilo of gold was between $59,000 to $62,000. Just last year, exactly this time in October, 1 kilo of gold was selling for over $82,000, and today $127,000. Don't take my word for it. Just Google it yourself. Today, the price is through the roof and will continue no matter what happens to the world's economy, because gold doesn't have an alternative. Meanwhile, we have it here plenty in Africa. We work on it every day, ladies and gentlemen. And sometimes, ignorantly, we use it to build our homes while we starve for food. All this while foreign-owned companies are the ones benefiting from what we have. They've recognized its value, and they are all over in Africa mining, ladies and gentlemen. They are in Mali, just as they are in Ghana. And they've captured almost all the areas with the richest deposits. Today, ladies and gentlemen, President Assimi Goita is doing something completely different. He is reversing the capture of these mines. He has revoked 90 permits of such companies. And I thank God someone is waking up. 90 permits of foreign-owned companies. I told you how they capture our mines in other videos, if you remember. They do that through what is called exploration. You see, in order to mine, you first need to explore or determine whether there is gold in the land or not. That process of prospecting is what African governments have abandoned to foreign companies.
I want to say something real quick before we continue. I remember that when President Mahama organized his first discourse with respect to the state of emergency topic, after he said everything and defended himself, Okabibi said they are going to bring in foreign consultants who are going to use ultra-modern technologies. They are going to use a satellite which is going to shoot light beam onto the land. So they are going to detect where the minerals are and draw a topograph, a map of where all the resources are, not just the gold. All the resources are. And they are going to draw the map and they are going to sell it to companies. This is what he said. So you can see what our brother Mr. Cyrus said. And you can see the correlation between this and what I said to you. So these companies, they come in the name of exploration. We are in our country, we cannot explore. So Dora the Explorer has to come. Right. So when they do that, I think that is what our brother is trying to confirm. They do that under the guise of that, but then they will be searching for resources. They change their company's name from exploration companies to mining companies. Well, so let's continue.
So these smart foreign companies come in as exploration companies and end up registering the companies under their names. They register the concessions under their names for literally nothing. As I speak to you now, Mali is one of the only six African countries that has an active and profitable 100% owned state exploration company purposely for gold. It is called SOREM, Société d'Exploration des Ressources Minerales du Mali. I hope I'm saying it right. And guess who formed it, ladies and gentlemen? Yours truly, Assimi Goita, in 2022. And that is how he's able to determine where the gold is, who controls it, and the leasehold they have on it. Many of these companies have hijacked these mines. They are all foreign-owned companies looking for the highest bidders. Meanwhile, they took it for free from us. So, he has specifically revoked the permits issued to foreign-owned companies between 2015 and 2022 for gold, iron ore, bauxite, uranium, rare earth, and other minerals. These were permits issued under the ousted Ibrahim Keita government. And it's because this was the period in Mali when the most mining permits were issued in Mali's history. Now, doesn't that sound similar to what's happening in Ghana? From 2009 to 2016, 59 mining permits were issued by the state of Ghana. But from 2017 to 24, 1,990 permits were issued, and all happened under one government. But see what Assimi Goita has.
You see, the reason why I choose to be anti-partisan, like me, I'm not saying I'm against any party. I just choose. I choose not to decide, because me, like if you are going the wrong direction, if you know that you don't know where you are going, you don't have to run. Like that is basic life principle. If you know that where you are going, you do not know where you are going, you do not have to run. If you know that these people that we are trusting, they don't know what we are, there's no need to force to quickly vote for them or sort of support them. You calm down small, calm down. This is what you all should do. You should calm down small. We start to learn about these people. We have to know what is going on. If you don't know what is going on, they will continue to sort of control the narrative. This is what this French king, Louis, I think Louis XIV or so, this is what he did to control his court. He told his brother to come up with social constructs, and then they called it etiquette. Yes, that's what they call etiquette. Etiquette was in a way a certain ways a person should behave, like in an honorable way, like in court or in the palace. A certain way somebody is supposed. You see, when you went to school, they show that table manners, how to use fork and knife. You see, that is part of etiquette. It's not by force that we use fork and knife. But when we went to school, they drill it into us. Like you had to learn. So it is etiquette. Like it is used to control people. This is what these people they do. They control the narrative. I do not know what they are doing or what they will gain or what they will get from it. But all I know is we who sort of think that it doesn't concern us, we end up suffering. Like we end up paying for their price. Their consequences comes onto us. And no matter how much complaining that we do, they see you to be complaining. Because after all, we are not in power. They are in power. Somebody who is in power, they don't complain. They order, they command. But we are not in power. So anything that we say, you see, and that's what has brought us to this point. So how do we overcome this then? How do you overcome this boundary? So unless we find ourselves on the same frequency as they are, I'm not saying that we should make ourselves powerful or something like that. But you see, not like literally, but at the same time literally, because I think that information is power. So learning the things that they know or understanding the things that they are talking about will sort of make us equal to them. So anything that they see, I mean, they are just words after all. Words, they don't have knife. Tongues the tongues, although they are powerful, but a tongue is not as sharp as a knife, a literal knife. So if you can spew words at me, like lies at me, and I know that what you're saying is a lie, then it will not penetrate my shield of truth. Like, it will get bounced back. So your lies will not work in this situation. If I find myself to be informed as you are, then the probability of you having the ability to control me diminishes. So here's what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is sort of like break some of the things that they say down. I do not know what grants me the ability to do this. But you see, I see myself to be with experience. Because of experience, I see myself to be a person who do not really subscribe to lies. I don't know why. I do not like the idea of confusion. Confusion clouds my brain and affects my decision making. So I've been that way since I was little. So I think it's stuck. I didn't know how to subscribe to a lie. We all do. We all lie. Everybody lies. I lie all the time. But I do not know how to like cultivate that kind of lying behavior where I look to lying when I do not have anything to do. Like, this is mainly because I do not have the will or like the need to sort of like sacrifice somebody's interest to gain something that I want. That is selfish thinking. So we can understand how in Ghana, because of this kind of mindset, or African or black people generally, because of how this kind of mindset, we have weaponized kindness. So now people see kind people as stupid, like truly kind people as foolish. And people use kindness as some kind of trick to trick good people into their presence so that they can take advantage of them. So kindness has been demonized because of lies, because of confusion. But if we would all trust in ourselves and believe in our confidence and subscribe to the truth, I think our lives will be much better than this. But because of these politicians who refuse, or these people who are in power or have influence, they refuse to do this. This has become an example for everybody who follows them or learns from them, especially because they have money, they have certain influence, and money is, I think, the one thing that we all want. So you probably want to know how a person who have money like got it, so that you can follow the same path or something, so that you can get yours too. So we have been brought to the part where we are unconsciously learning from people who have money, whether it's their bad behavior or their immoralness, their unsubscription to the truth, like everything that they are doing. We have driven ourselves to the point where we see them in this highest form of esteem, where they do not make mistakes. So, and it exists in every social niche, like rich pastor and poor pastor. Rich pastor is more respected over poor pastor. Like it exists everywhere. It has created its own ecosystem of a sort. So we have been brought to that point, and I'm trying to hope that we can overcome this by engaging in discussions. We should ask a lot of questions. Like, it doesn't really matter. A lot of questions. So let's continue the video.
Has done in response to all these permits as compared to what we are doing. He has revoked them and asked all the companies to reapply. It is in the reapplication process that a lot of non-compliance issues have come up under the new mining rules in Mali, and the Malian government is reallocating these mines. I have a suggestion for Assimi Goita, if only my voice will reach him. You don't even have to reallocate these mines to anyone. We have indigenous African mining companies that are able to partner states in mining. They mine, process the ore, and refine the gold on behalf of the state, and then they split the output in percentages. That is one option you can consider. These companies are not many in Africa, but are capable of handling multiple mines at the same time. This is just one of the options, like I said. But the primary option is when the state itself is able to raise the needed capital for mining on its own. This is the ideal situation. However, ladies and gentlemen, when we mine the gold, we can do what the Middle Eastern countries have done. In the Middle East, there isn't any lands for mining gold, but they currently have 4% of the world's gold reserves, ladies and gentlemen. And they started buying just 2 decades ago. This is what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. America is a great nation because about 23% of the global gold reserves is in that country. It is controlled by their banks, their billionaires, and companies. When you look at the top 100 banks in the world as of 2025, there isn't a single African bank on it. It is dominated by American and Chinese banks, and these are the same countries with the world's largest production of gold, if you didn't know. And do you know why no African bank is on that list? It's because our bank reserves are insignificant on the global financial scale. But Goita, Assimi Goita, can change all of that for Mali using gold. You see, gold isn't meant to be sold, ladies and gentlemen. We don't sell gold like we do for copper and diamonds. That's completely wrong. Gold is meant to be traded, and here is one of the ways it can be done. Take, for instance, when you have gold in the value of, say, $5 million, and you want to buy goods from China or from any manufacturer in the world. You have the gold, you want the goods. You don't need to sell the gold at all. You take the gold and open an account with any of the top 100 banks in the world. And you will understand why Africa should grow our banks into the capacity of being on the list of the top 100 banks of the world. You'll see it very soon. You understand it soon in a minute as I continue to explain this. So you take the gold and open a business account in any of those banks, and then this is where the magic happens. You instruct your bank to send a letter of credit to the bank of the manufacturer. Ladies and gentlemen, your bank sends a letter of credit to the bank of the manufacturer. Now, this instruction will be sent by your bank to the manufacturer's bank, and the manufacturer's bank will be provided the value of your gold in safe in your bank. No money is involved, ladies and gentlemen. It is purely a banking language that is totally acceptable when the banks are on that list. So, because your bank has proven your value in the gold you have with them to the manufacturer's bank, the manufacturer's bank now informs the manufacturer of the deal, and they produce and ship the goods to you, the buyer, without payment. And most times provide you up to 90 days period of repayment. Ladies and gentlemen, 90 days for repayment. Meaning the buyer will receive the goods and probably sell them and use the same money from the sale to pay off the manufacturer without touching his gold. In the event the buyer is unable to pay the manufacturer in the stipulated time, the buyer's bank moves the buyer's gold reserves to the manufacturer's bank. This is an international banking and trading language.
It's an interesting system.
In Africa cannot do this because they don't fall within the range of top 100 because their asset value is simply insignificant, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, Assimi Goita can make that decision to focus on one state bank and develop it with gold reserves with massive branches across Africa. I remember Muammar Gaddafi had a plan like this with the BSIC bank he established across several African countries, including Mali, Ivory Coast, Niger, Senegal, Cameroon, Sudan, and many other countries. And he became a threat to the Western financial order, which triggered his troubles, ladies and gentlemen. It is a messed up story for those who know. Now, any African country with dynamic
those of us who don't know, we go and learn.
leadership can do so much with gold. That is simply what I'm trying to say. This era in Africa demands dynamism, effective and courageous leadership. There is no room for time wasters and those living in the past. No room for them. And I'm super glad we have these leaders in the Sahel region to show us how far we can go when we are courageous enough to step up to the challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, President Assimi Goita has earned my respect with this move, and I hope he sees this video because there is a lot he can get from it. Thanks for watching. Now,
so first of all, better brother Cyrus, I said this is a wonderful video, and okay, maybe say you see any credit in your President Goita to say. Me, I still believe in the establishment of a democratic system. I do not agree with Coup. If we want to make a decision, I do not see the reason why, and as a changer, I do not see the reason why we have to fight first and then ensure peace and then life goes on. Like I don't know the reason why that has to happen first. And on say near papa yi it's almost as if say Coup in civil war near the adna across African countries. It is due to foreign influence, because we can consider this recent Nigeria event. Say they are killing Christians in Nigeria. Like recently, there's a genocide of Christians in Nigeria. So the foreign intervention, that's it, the foreign influence has created a certain kind of people, and I say, kind of people that is different to the people who still adhere to the old African belief and our system, and that's something that will cause incoherentness in people's beliefs or way of life. It would cause war. And if that thing used to be accepted in a certain place and as a country and a nation, that's a it's called civil war. So it's the same people, the people within the country who are fighting themselves. But if you all believe in the same thing, then where is the difference in opinions coming from? And when they are foreign influence, and me too, I want to congratulate the president of Mali for what he's doing, and I hope that he follows or listens to or gets a chance to see this video so that he can consider some of the suggestions our brother made. So I want to sort of like, as I said from the beginning, use this video as some kind of advert. Now you have seen the video. If you have watched up to this point, I believe that you have an idea about what my channel is about. I'm not here to, talk about hot gossips or some celebrity crashes or an affair somebody is having with somebody that doesn't really concern me much. I'm just here to talk about like what we all have in common, because after all, that is what I believe to be the most important things of all. The things that we all have in common. You all die, you all get sick, you all need food to eat, you all need security. They are important. So to me, I think those are the things that are important, that deserves our priorities. So when I say things that I talk about important things, these are the things that I consider to be important. I do not know what other people consider to be important, but I do hope that they are along the lines of the things that I listed, because the things that I listed, they are pretty damn important. So this is the Anti-Partisan Network, and I'm your host, Johnson. And please do subscribe and like my videos, and thank you. We are signing off. See you in the next video. God bless.